Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here, and welcome to the exciting return of the WDW Magic Imagineering Competition recap videos here on the So You Want to Be an Imagineer YouTube channel. Go to WDW Magic's Imagineering forums for all kinds of brainstorming, all kinds of open ideas and crazy concepts for theme parks, and also a ton of competitions like we're about to get into. And joining me is the co-host for the Creator Games, the second of the official contests of 2015 for WDW Magic's Imagineering forums, Space Mountain. How you doing, Space?
Good. Glad to be here, Tiki.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So Sam, he's been doing a great job of hosting his Magic Critic episodes, but unfortunately he's gallivanting around Europe because, you know, he can't, because apparently we're not good enough for him. Apparently he chooses Europe over us. Screw you, Sam. All right, but anyway, so we will be talking about the session 8, which is Wonders of Vacancy, and this is actually split up into 2 different projects. So Space, you want to kind of give us some insight into how you and IDI came up with these 2 projects?
Sure. So this one, we try to make each session a little bit different than the last. This one was basically a mixture of everything so far. We had concept creation challenges, we had team challenges, individual challenges. Basically, the way that we designed it was there were 2 concept creation challenges. The first one was we split you up. There were 6 people left in the competition, so we split you up into 2 teams of 3, and that was based on your session 7 standings. So since T-Cool came in first and you came in second, you both were granted immunity for this challenge. Mm-hmm. So you had what was called the MVP Immunity Award. And you could have
Hey, watch it with the MVP. Don't call it the power of MVP, because that's trademarked by So You Want to Be an Imagineer.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding.
I didn't even know that. Oh.
We call it the PO MVP. Basically a ripoff of Big Brother's POV.
Okay. Oh, that might be where IDI got that from. He came up with the name.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. We'll just call it the Immunity Award.
Yeah.
So you both were granted.
I have found the hidden MVP immunity idol. Little Russell hands for you. Russell hands. I am the greatest player of all time. All these people are idiots. All right, I'm done.
I wish I watched these shows because I know what you're talking about.
You should.
Yeah.
Although with Survivor, it's 30 seasons in now, so it's a lot to catch up on.
It'd be a lot of watching.
I could give you like the top 5 seasons. I could give you like the 5 essential seasons that you need to watch. That might be a little easier.
That might come in handy for next year's season 2 of Solo Imagineer.
Solo Imagineer. Oh yeah. I'm excited about that.
I had no clue what was going on in that.
Even if I'm going to get voted out first, even if I'm a big target, I'm excited to be back for that for sure.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Okay, but Wonders of Vacancy, you guys
so
took both the concepts of hotels and then the vacant Wonders of Life building. Ooh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, it's a play on words there. Where were we? Oh, so both you and Tico had immunity, and you were placed on 2 separate teams, and then the other 2 players were just based on the session 7 standings, and they were split up. I think it was 3-5 and 4-6.
Okay.
We were on 2 separate teams. Anyway, the objective of this was that we gave you 3 quotes from 3 separate people of what we called guest research, and in order to take like a different twist on this, a lot of Disney projects are based on, guest satisfaction. If stuff isn't up to guest level of satisfaction, they are going to be adjusted or removed, or based on guest demand, stuff is going to get built, like Frozen and Maelstrom, but we won't get into that.
There was a big controversy with Rob Alvey on the WDW Magic boards today, and he actually came on and Yeah, Joker told me about it.
Yeah.
So let's not go there in case he's watching.
Yeah, we won't. But anyway, so we wanted to give a little bit of a twist in that regard. So we gave you three separate quotes from three people, and we basically tried to allude to their needs. One person really liked the monorail, but they thought that the Magic Kingdom resorts were too expensive. One person was a DVC owner, and they wanted a resort closer to the Animal Kingdom. And another person just wanted to visit wanted to go international but couldn't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
So based on that, you guys had to come up with three new resort proposals to fit those guest needs. And overall, I think both teams did a really good job. This one was a really close round to critique.
Yeah, so a bit of trivia. The three people are actually the final three from Survivor China. Courtney Yates.
Oh.
Courtney Yates, Amanda Kimmel, and Todd Herzog.
Oh, that's why IDI changed the name.
Yeah.
They had different names. And I was like, all right, I guess we're going with Courtney.
And they're all from their respective places of.
Then he definitely did that as an Easter egg. Kudos to him.
No, I didn't even notice it at first.
I had no clue why he changed. I guess I just thought he liked those names. I didn't know they were for a reason.
Oh yeah, they're definitely for a reason.
It was just randomized. I just made up random stuff. But then that was funny how he did that.
Okay, so I guess the first project we'll talk about is let's see, it's I get yours. These goddamn. There's been so many team names that I get them all mixed up. But the Wonders of Disney team, I guess. Let's go with that. Sure.
I think there's been like 5 different team names overall.
I know, it's kind of been ridiculous. Okay, so the Wonders of Disney team. So we eventually ended up doing Project Tomorrow and the Seven Wonders Resort, and also a resort based on Up called Paradise Falls, appropriately enough.
Yes.
But now actually Paradise Falls I literally came up with and wrote up in the period of about 12 hours. And 8 of those hours were literally me sleeping on it. I thought about, instead of Star Wars, why don't I do Up? And then that idea was in my head, and I slept on it, and then I woke up and I cracked out that Up hotel.
You woke up. That was a bad joke. All right. So yeah, did you want to get into the sort of details behind your project, why you went with each place?
Yeah, well, there's 2 lost concepts here. One of the ones we lost that I was really trying to pitch around, but I kind of knew from the start no one was going to go for it. I just wanted to do it anyways because I love it. It was the Disney Afternoon Value Resort. So, we would have had Darkwing Duck. We would have had Launchpad McQuack's plane. Would have had Scrooge McDuck's vault. Just all kinds of stuff. Just jam it all in there. Pete's RV. A whole section devoted to gargoyles. Yeah, that's the stuff. Oh, that's the nostalgia. I still think that would have been good. That ranks right up there with the Tron musical that I wanted to do that featured nothing but Daft Punk music.
That would have definitely been an interesting one.
I still want to write that one up, but I don't know. I might save it for another contest, but then again, I feel like it's an idea that only I could really explore, unless there happens to be another person on the team that's as into Daft Punk as I am, and I'm a huge Daft Punk fan. I know all their albums by heart, so so I can definitely come up with a storyline, just picking together various Daft Punk songs and being like, okay, that's Tron. Okay, anyways, so. But yeah, we were going to go with Star Wars for a long time, and I had some really cool ideas for it. I mean, we had the whole Endor treehouse thing going on, which I think would have been cool, and also the kind of Tatooine sort of sand huts. Those the kind of the cave-like houses that are kind of built into the.
Yeah, well, Luke Skywalker's house.
Yeah, that and also the also kind of the slave quarters from Phantom Menace.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah, like stuff like that. And then we're also gonna have let's see, what else would we've had?
Oh, you mean
Maybe
like the Watto place and stuff?
Yeah. Well,
From
no, not
Phantom Menace?
necessarily the shop. But the because Anakin and his mother, they lived in like these really interesting looking kind of like just holes and
Oh, they
that
look
were
like
carved
they kind
out
of
of
look
this.
like apartment buildings in this
Right,
stage. Yeah. I
exactly.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we would have had those. We would have had I probably Kashyyyk. Kashyyyk would have been in there. Probably Hoth would have probably been in there. Cloud City. You know,
Okay.
so just all these different locations, and I think it would have been cool. I think it would have been a really I just kind of backed out of it based on the fact that the one location we had was Animal Kingdom, and I just could not find a proper way to make it fit with Animal Kingdom. I mean, at first I was like, well, okay, you got the Ewoks and you got the Wookiees, so it's like they're animals, right? But I was like, no, I'm not going to be Avatar Land.
Yeah.
So
Although it would have been
what?
cool. Oh, sorry. It would have been, those treehouse villas at Saratoga Springs. If you made that like into an Ewok village, that would have been cool.
Dude, I mean, I'm telling you, that is like one of like people would freaking pay like $5,000 a night to stay in one of those things.
Treehouse?
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah. You have
An
all the bridges
Ewok
going.
treehouse? Yeah, right. Oh my god.
That'd be cool.
You could make a fortune off that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, anyway, so we ended up going with Paradise Falls, and it's a concept that I really do like. I really like the idea of like this big kind of naturalistic resort, and the building kind of the actual hotel being built into the falls. I really like the idea of kind of the labyrinth, the rock labyrinth where Kevin lives, and that being like kind of like the central sort of like area of the grounds of the hotel where all the activities would be, like the pool and all that sort of good stuff. And then, of course, the savannah type area with the South American animals. Just, I think it would have been really cool. Disney Princess, I mean, I'll give her a ton of credit for the other two ones because I had next to no input on them. She was just like, oh, we should do one based on the 7 Wonders of the World. And I'm like, great, that sounds good. So all the credit to her end. So what do you think of her two hotels?
Yeah, so what's the first one here? The Tomorrowland, Project Tomorrow. I really like the Project Tomorrowland one. I think the only thing that the judges said about it was this was supposed to be a value resort, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely not a value resort.
And it feels more like at least a moderate. I would go.
Yeah, at least.
Because
Yeah, I agree.
You have access to both Epcot and Magic Kingdom monorail, and you're right next to Magic Kingdom, so it has to be. But we'll also get in with the other team too. The other team kind of fell into the same boat, where a lot of their resorts they had to have been in a bit different category than what they put them because they just put in so much detail and design that it can't be a value.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of the trap that you fall into with Imagineering sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes
the armchair variety.
Yeah, but I really liked the project itself. I think it was a great location. I think even back in the early '60s or late '60s, early '70s, there was originally supposed to be a resort in that location.
Oh yeah.
It was either Mediterranean or Persian, something like that.
Probably Mediterranean, because that's been in the works for a long time. I remember reading about that in David Canning's book.
There was supposed to be one where the Grand Floridian is now, and one in the location that you put it in. I have to look up which one it was, though. It was one of those, something like that. But it was a great location.
And this really shows off her skill when it comes to website design, too, because all the pictures are... it just flows really well.
Yeah, I like how when you look at it, you can click at the bottom to the next hotel. So it's kind of like you're reading it on the forum, but it's a lot neater.
Sure.
You can add a bunch of colors, change the font differently than what you can. Because on the forums, you can only change it so much. The font. There's only like 8 or 9 fonts you can choose from.
Oh yeah.
And so it's designing a website gives you a lot more freedom in that regard to organize stuff. But yeah, that was a really good one. And then the other one was the Seven Wonders, and this one was interesting because it was interesting because the other team did the kind of a similar project.
Yeah, definitely.
It reminded me of that Pokemon one where both teams chose Pokemon.
Oh god. Oh
Yeah.
god.
Well, I mean,
I still have like memories of myself in England in the trenches like 4 a.m, and I'm all like, England, don't you have work in like 4 hours? He's like, no man, I'm good. Shut up. Oh god. Love you, England.
I think there's a reason why they probably chose similar projects, just because the Todd quote basically gave it away that he wants to see international stuff.
Oh yeah,
so what better way to do it than have an international resort, especially one close to World Showcase. I think both teams actually put it in different locations.
I wanted to do something slightly different to this, to tell you the truth. I wanted to have a World Showcase resort, which would be an opportunity to showcase some of the countries that the World Showcase hasn't gotten around to showcasing yet.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
What do you think of that idea?
That's interesting. I feel, well, what countries would you use?
Well, I don't. We'd have to like dig deep and find some really good countries. I mean, that's a matter of research. But
I mean,
definitely stuff like Africa, Switzerland. Stuff that hasn't that's been around for a while, but has never actually made it into the park and might never make it into the park.
Yeah, that's true. I think
especially Switzerland. Like, I highly doubt at this point that they're going to do a Switzerland pavilion ever.
Yeah, I feel it'll be interesting to see if they ever do another World Showcase pavilion.
Yeah, because there hasn't been one since like Morocco.
Yeah, 1988, or is it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was either Norway or Morocco was the last one. Those two were added afterwards. But yeah, there hasn't been one in over.
Yeah, so I figure like, well, if Disney's going to get lazy about it in the actual park, then why don't you build a hotel?
They have 8 different slots to put new resorts in. If you look around, like, I'm sure they've had maps of it before, but there's plenty of slots for new ones. They just haven't done it. Maybe it's something with diplomacy. I don't know. But I think
that'd be my best guess as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's another podcast.
We can get Sam in on that one. I'm sure.
I'm sure he would be a good one for that.
I'm actually halfway considering doing a political podcast with Sam. I think that'd be amazing. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be my audience, but it'd be amazing. It'd be amazing podcasting material.
And probably get a lot of views.
I don't know about that, because like I said, my viewership wants like, do more Steven Universe reactions. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, the subscribers I gained during Steven Bomb.
But yeah, I was just looking at your stuff. You focused a lot on Greece and Egypt, which I thought was pretty cool. Overall, this was a pretty good one. I like how you included an example of a menu. I just like the detail that you put into these projects, where you make every sentence count. Where a sentence is not like a throwaway sentence. You know what I mean? Each one serves a purpose.
3 semesters of creative writing talking on my end.
Well, it paid off. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to oh god, what's the other team? Another team name.
Team Destination.
Team Destination. Okay, sure, why not?
Okay, this was T. Cool, R. Michael, and Orlando. And they actually had, I didn't say this earlier, but since T. Cool had won the Session 7, he won the whole thing, he got the additional reward of having a exclusive quote, or exclusive guest research quote that your team didn't get. And that quote, well, now it's over, I can say it now, was that a poll of 1,500 DVC guests said, or 80% of a poll of 1,500 DVC guests say that they desire a DVC resort closer to a water park. And so
that's where Winter Peaks comes in.
basically,
Okay,
but what
nice.
was interesting about it was, well, I'll get into it when we go into that resort. One of the critiques for it was actually what they did with that resort.
Okay.
But that's the last one on the list, so we'll get to that. So what did you think of this project?
Well, let's start with Scandinavia. I liked certain elements of it, but at the same time, there were a couple things that I thought were off about it. Let's see if I kind of skimmed these. So let's see. I like all the different architecture and everything. I think it works well. I don't necessarily think having the monorail is a good idea, especially like because it is a value resort, and also because I feel like it would throw off the kind of like old-timey theme that you're going for.
Yeah, that's why I don't want the Wilderness Lodge to have a monorail or any sort of,
Yeah, right,
because it
right.
takes away from the theme. It kind of, I guess you can kind of say the same about the Polynesian too, but that's a classic, so
Polynesian's a classic, yeah.
you
I
can't
mean,
do
the
much about that.
Polynesian resort and the monorail kind of like go hand in
They kind of
hand
go
with each
hand in
other.
hand. Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I
But
mean,
stuff if you're gonna add it to it and it's not a classic, it kind of throws off the theme.
sure, yeah, exactly. But
Yeah, I go ahead.
I mean, it's fine. I don't necessarily think like because when I think Scandinavia, I think of Scandia. Do you know what Scandia is? Do you have Scandias around where you live?
No, no.
They're basically like Dave and Buster's, like family fun centers.
Oh,
With
okay.
like arcades and go-karts and family coasters and crap like that,
Yeah.
mini golf.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know, for some reason, so, and they're all Scandinavian themed very loosely,
Mhm.
you know, they all have like castles and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I don't know, for some reason, I just don't necessarily feel like this is even a resort that people would like flock to, like, oh, I gotta see Scandinavia, holy crap. I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit harsh on that regard. I do really like the pool. I thought they did a really good job with the pool.
The pool was the best part, I think, for me.
Oh yeah, for sure. The rest of it is just kind of generic. Like, okay, it's another resort based off of a exotic locale. I've seen it before. Basically, it's just but then the pool was really good. So
yeah, I liked how they had the Little Mermaid statue there too. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I think this, along the same thing that you just said, the one thing that kind of threw us with this was that they added it to, it's supposed to be a value resort, but they added it to the Epcot monorail line, and then they also built a river to take you from Epcot to the resort and to Hollywood Studios, which I feel like it's located on north of Epcot.
That's like really elaborate and not very cost effective at all.
Yeah, that was the one. It kind of threw us on that one.
That is kind of like the kind of Imagineering that I think England was talking about. Like he did a really good Jurassic World video with us, and we were talking about the gyrospheres in Jurassic World, and England basically said that the gyrospheres reminded him of like a very kind of first draft concept that someone would make up for a contest like this. And I feel the same way about like, oh, well, let's have let's have the boats that go directly into Epcot. It's a cool idea. It's a really cool idea.
No, exactly. It's just I don't know how you do that though.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because the World Showcase Lagoon is south. If you're looking at the if you're looking at like the top. So if you put the resort north of Epcot, you'd have to, I don't know how you design it so that that lagoon follows along from Hollywood Studios all the way up to the Scandinavian resort. It would be interesting to see.
Like I said, it'd just be a massive construction project that wouldn't be very cost effective.
And
like, it'd be a massive construction project for one thing, for
a value resort.
Like just no.
Yeah. So that was the one thing that I think the resort itself was nice. Once I liked the history, I liked the design of it, and I liked the pool. It was just it went a little bit overboard with the construction to get it there.
Okay, so let's talk about the Empire's Resort.
Okay, so this was a deluxe resort. Basically, kind of the same thing that. Although, actually, no, you got this one focused on different things. Although it focused on Greece and Egypt, it also went into China, which I don't think. To look
I don't
back at
think
your.
we have China.
I don't think you have China in there.
Is the Great Wall of China on there?
Yeah. No, you have Babylon, Olympia. I think you focus mainly on Egypt and Greece
I'm honestly surprised the
and
Great Wall of
Rome.
China. The Great Wall of China must be in there somewhere because that must be one of the seven wonders of the world, right? I would
Yeah,
think logically.
man-made wonders of the world, maybe.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got it. Yeah, there's
Although
a
some of this
difference.
is
No, you're
man-made
right.
too.
There's a difference.
Yeah, that's all right. Oh, getting back to the empires one. This one was pretty good for them. We didn't really have much negative to say about this. Both of your empire resorts were pretty good.
I
So I don't know
really
if you have
like the
anything.
idea of the wall separating the different empires. I think that flowed
Yes.
together really well.
Yeah, I liked that one too. Where was this one located? I don't even remember where this one was. I don't
It
think they actually.
was
Oh,
at,
Animal Kingdom Resort area.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so they put the empires. See, so you guys put it. That's what I thought. You guys put it in two different places. You guys put it towards Epcot, and then they put it towards Animal Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because they're that exclusive. What's it called? Guest research told them that they wanted resorts in Animal Kingdom.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So the next
You know
one.
what? I'm gonna be completely honest with you though, and this is gonna be just brutally honest. I couldn't have given two craps about those the guest whatevers. I was just aiming to design a cool resort that I would want to go to. That was it. That was literally it. That was my only objective. I didn't even look at the quotes.
Well, it was good for you guys because your stuff actually lined up with what was said. For the most part,
I'm sure Disney Princess read the quotes more than I did, so credit to her. But when it came to making up the Up Resort, I'm just gonna make something awesome. You know, that's it.
Yeah. Well, it was placed in the Animal Kingdom area, so that was good.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But it wasn't going to. It's not going to ruin your thing. It wouldn't, but it will have some impact on it if you didn't follow it completely, just because that was part of the instructions. But I mean, I don't want to give a percentage on it, but some of it went into the.
I'm just the rebellious art school student at heart. People are like,
right.
do it that way, and I'm like, why can't I do it this way?
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, anything else to say about Empires?
No, the Empires was good. I think this one was their best resort.
So Winter Peaks, this was actually my favorite resort because of how practical it was and how well it fit into Blizzard Beach. I thought it was a very natural extension of Blizzard Beach.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we agreed that it definitely fit into Blizzard Beach. The only thing I think we were a little bit questioning was that Blizzard Beach, the story behind it is that the snow melted and then they opened up this water park. Whereas, did they build this ski resort with the water park itself?
I'm pretty sure that was it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they built the ski resort with the ski lodge. Yeah,
because they weren't. That was the one thing that if they could add like a couple more sentences, that could have. Blizzard Beach, a man decided to open a ski lodge with a ski resort before it all melted. Okay, yeah. So I don't know. That was more of IDI's thing, where a little bit more elaboration on that could have helped.
Yeah, I see. Yeah,
but overall, it was what the guests wanted.
Yeah, I like how simple it was.
And it was a moderate resort, and it was a legit moderate resort too, because although they said it was a moderate resort because the Animal Kingdom resort area lacks moderate resorts, but Coronado is also a moderate resort, so I didn't understand that one. But that's neither here nor there. That didn't really factor into what they did. The real thing I think that we focused on for this one, which I know because you didn't really see the quotes or anything. Well, you didn't, especially didn't see this one because it was their exclusive one. But they had they said 1,500 guests wanted a DVC or 1,500 guests did a poll, and 80% of those 1,500 wanted a DVC resort close to the Blizzard Beach. So if 80% of 1,500 is 1,200. So if 1,200 guests want a resort there, you're going to have to build a lot of DVC suites, and they only had 100, which we thought they should have added. They should have taken the subtlety in the quote and made it basically like a Saratoga Springs DVC resort, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So that was the one place, which actually you guys ironically did that for one of your. I don't even know if you noticed that you did half DVC, half resort.
Yeah.
I think that was for the Seven Wonders.
I think so. Right? Yeah.
Which makes sense because you'd have big suites in the Empire, like an Egyptian style king room or whatever. That was really our one.
I think the Millennium Falcon would have been the ultimate DVC thing if we did Star Wars.
That would have been awesome.
And it wouldn't have even been very comfortable, but it would have just been a realistic experience.
You'd be playing that. You'd be playing space chess.
Yes. Oh my god. And then you try and take a flash picture, and Chewbacca would come out and yell at you.
You just hear like a roar in the background.
Okay.
R2-D2's the maid and butler. That'd be funny. He's cleaning. R2-D2's cleaning the room. He's like the Zumba in the room. Yeah. That'd be funny.
All right. So in the end, our team won. So you want to talk about that decision?
Yeah. So like I said before, this one was really close. It really came down to. All the ideas were good. It came down to the execution of them, and I think we both had different things that we liked and disliked, but in the end, we both agreed that you guys had the better overall project. The main reason why we chose you guys was just because while both teams had very good ideas, yours was just executed better in our opinion.
I think we had by far the better website.
Yeah, actually, this was the first time that both teams did a website, so it was interesting to do the comparison. I thought both were pretty good.
But like I said, I do think Disney Princess's website design.
She definitely has the design. She definitely has the design. I like. She also includes a ton more pictures, and I also like how she changes the font a lot. So when I read it,
because basically, the other team's project, it's like it's just like.
Here's a couple pictures, and
it literally could have just been a forum post.
Basically, yeah, they didn't need to be a website for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because they included, I think, maybe a grand total of 10 or so images, where you guys basically had 10 on each page.
Right.
Where you guys needed a website. Where I'm actually just looking at theirs, they had 2 images for Winter Peaks, 2 for Empires, and then I think there was 1, 2, 3, 4 for. So they had 8 total, not including the title page. So that could have been a forum post, whereas you guys had a lot more design and detail with. I think that's the difference between when you use a website and when don't you. It's because when you're going to do a lot of detail, you're going to need to do a website. When you're doing like basic concepts, you don't necessarily.
Basically, when there's a lot of different moving parts to your project.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I don't know. That could have been it's also the way you set it up too. Because if you're a detail driven person, you're going to need a website to make it more readable. Because sometimes just big blocks of text on a forum post, I just start.
I try and make my paragraphs.
I kind of just scroll down to the end and see what you did.
If you notice, I do not employ big block paragraphs.
Yeah, I mean,
I try to make my paragraphs as readable as possible.
I go back and read them. Sorry, I go back and read them. It's just a lot to read at once because you're staring at a screen with just a bunch of text. But yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing you'd agree with the decision. because you're on that team.
No, I totally think we should have lost. We sucked.
You're probably not the best person to ask.
All right. Anyways, let's move on to the whole immunity thing. I very much would have given Disney Princess my immunity. I would have, and I'll come right out and say that. I will kind of explain more of my motives and how I came to work with Disney Princess on an alliance level a little later on in the show, but let's just get that out of the way. I was as committed to giving immunity to Disney Princess as T-Cool was to giving it to R. Michael. Also, T-Cool giving it to R. Michael basically cemented, like, okay, R. Michael and T-Cool attached at the hip. They are a power couple in this game. We need to get one of them out.
Yeah. And it basically all came down to the Challenge 2 results.
Indeed.
Yeah. So actually, just backing up a little bit, I don't even think we even explained that you could have given it away. That's all right. Everyone who's watching this probably already knows that. That basically the person with the immunity power could either keep it for themselves if their team lost, or they could pass it off to a teammate who did a good job on the project, even though they still lost. And basically, if you gave it off to the person, you'd be your immunity would be up in the air, but you might have received an award for being selfless. And that's actually what happened, where instead of eliminating someone this round, since T-Cool was selfless and gave it to R. Michael, nobody was eliminated this round. So basically, then there was a double elimination in Challenge 2. So everyone just got one more shot.
And T-Cool, I'm sorry, but you better thank your lucky stars that happened, because you would have been gone. Like, you would have been gone if that would have gone to a vote.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's interesting how things play out that way, because one wrong.
Because then, ironically enough, T-Cool is now in the Final Four, and then R. Michael, the person that he was trying to protect in the first place, ends up being eliminated.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how that played out. I will say that I really liked this this session because there was a lot of strategy involved, and while we tried to, there's actually supposed to be more strategy in the creator games as a whole, but just because people started getting busy and dropping out, the strategy kind of went out the window because nobody got eliminated in each round, because the people who got eliminated were just the people who dropped.
Well, I've had full seasons of Say You Want to Be an Imagineer where it's basically been that case, so it's fine.
Yeah,
I still think you guys managed to make a really engaging competition. I know I was like really into it all the way through.
Oh well, thank you. I'm sure I would have, and Sam would appreciate that too. We put a lot of effort in. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed it. Well, it's still not over yet. There's still 2 more sessions. It's just getting started now.
Oh my god! Especially because Disney Princess just turned in awesome.
She just posted it, so
she just turned in an awesome villain project. So I'm like, okay, I could very much be eliminated right now. Oh god.
I don't know if IDI is online. No,
I hope he is.
The decision will probably be tomorrow. Please try to get some sleep.
I will never sleep until I know the results. No, I'm just kidding.
It'll probably be sometime tomorrow.
All right. Well, hopefully IDI checks.
If I'm online, I'll give my results and rankings.
And then we'll just wait for IDI.
And then we'll wait till IDI, and then we can do, if you need something.
I need something. I need something. I need something, man.
Well, hurry up and finish.
Give me my drugs.
I can't read the thing while doing the podcast.
Just give me one hit, man. It'll get me through the night.
Oh my. Anyway.
Oh god. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about well, first off, you want to go over the anonymous saboteur twist, which is very ironically named, considering it wasn't anonymous at all.
Yeah, I don't know what I think we screwed up on that one.
I think so. I think we checked the meaning of the word anonymous.
Oh, you know what? I think we put that in the PM just so that we knew, and then we forgot to edit it when we put it in just so we didn't forget who had it, but that's all right.
It worked out regardless. It was fine.
Yeah, no, it was fine. So basically for Challenge 2, since nobody was eliminated, we still had 6 people in this round. And this was an individual challenge, and your objective in this one was to revamp the now vacant Wonders of Life pavilion. Although it's still like a festival pavilion now. There's nothing of substance in it though.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you had 3 rules.
Basically, like a California Adventure. It's just used for special events, and that sucks.
Basically, yeah. So there were 3 objectives for this one. One, that you couldn't use any IPs, so no Inside Out, which would probably have been like a really, especially because the reviews of the movie, that would have been a really good fit, especially with training.
I'm just, all I can say is that I'm crossing my fingers that Inside Out goes into Wonders of Life and not Imagination.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of IPs in the Future World at all, but that's a whole nother.
I mean, I think it would fit in Wonders of Life though, because it's basically like Cranium Command the movie.
Yeah, that is true. Although, was it someone else who said that they were thinking of it in Imagination? Did I read that?
Yes, I think England in particular, I think, and also Joker is very worried about that possibility.
Yeah, because it I don't know. We'll talk about that later, I guess. But so for this challenge, you couldn't use it in Wonders of Life. The second one, you had to come up with an original design. So no revamping of Body Wars, Cranium Command, etc. And then basically you didn't have to keep it to the human body theme. You can make it whatever theme you wanted. So going down from that, there were 3, since you guys won challenge 1. You did Disney Princess and Matt. You guys were each given a saboteur disadvantage. You, Tiki, were given the disadvantage of, or the advantage, I should say, of making someone else not change the layout of the building. Meaning that even though the instructions allowed you to change and come up with an original design, you could make it so that they had to keep the same layout of the building. Disney Princess, basically you have to include a Body Wars S simulator in the project. Basically what that means is that Body Wars was built in the 80s, so you have to use that same type of technology.
Hey man, they just did an Iron Man ride with that type of technology.
Yeah. So you couldn't use a like an advanced simulator type of experience. You have to do like a basic run-of-the-mill simulator. And then Matt had the disadvantage of not being able to, whoever he gives it to, not be able to use a website or video in the presentation. But he ended up being absent. He was on vacation, so that didn't even come into play. So basically, you want to go into what strategy you used here?
Well, essentially, my target was T-Cool at the time, but then our Michael approached me and he's like, hey, we got to use the disadvantages on Disney Princess. And I'm like, you know what? Like, as threatening as T-Cool is on kind of like the, on a challenge level, and also on the fact that I feel like T-Cool is really underestimated, and for that reason, he kind of is allowed to slide by and kind of slide through the cracks a little bit. With our Michael, he's just like basically a bull in a china shop, and he's trying to, and I know that once he gets Disney Princess out, he's going to target me. I'll get into that a little later. So, of course, I went to Disney Princess, and I was like, let's put him on our Michael. And, so that's what happened. And I do believe that it was probably a big factor in what led to him getting voted out.
Yeah, well, we can get into that when we do at the end here. But you want to go over the topics or the presentation? So you were the first one, actually.
I was. So I was the C, Society of Explorers and Adventurers, World Sciences and Technology Pavilion. So basically, the genesis of this project is I was kind of running on a high after the Tomorrowland redo project of the idea of paleofuturism, which Sam was very fond of. So I wanted to do something in that regard. I wanted to take the idea of paleofuturism, which is what kind of minds of the 20th century and before thought the future would be like, and incorporate that into Future World, because I feel like, Future World is all about kind of these different ideas of the future, and what's more appropriate than, the future is dreamt up by the people who kind of like, built the building blocks of modern technology and whatnot.
Right.
So that's where C came into play, and I officially kind of tied C together with the Jules Verne world, which I think is good because Adventure Blue dude, Joker's Wild, knows much more about C than I do. I'm basically kind of stealing his affection for C and using it in a project. I'd like to say it's an homage to Joker's Wild. I'd like to say.
Well, that'd be nice, yeah.
But from the very get-go, I knew that I wanted to do Adventures in the Inner Body because I have a freaking obsession with inner space. If the Tiki Room is most definitely my favorite current attraction that's still there, inner space is most definitely my favorite attraction that I never got a chance to experience for myself. I'm utterly fascinated by it.
Yeah, that went away in the 80s, right?
Yeah, it went away. It made way for Star Tours in the early 80s, I think, the very early 80s. And I love Paul Frees as the nameless professor character. I think he does such a good job. He gets so into the character and into the danger and the peril that he's in. And just the groundbreaking effects of the time of, the kind of minimalist sets mixed with projections and whatnot. It all really fascinates me. And, of course, the mighty microscope, all that kind of imagery in there. Were you the one that said you said that we're going to get the mighty microscope or an inner space homage in Ant-Man, right?
Yeah, I just read that today because I was reading, I was on Slash Film or something.
I would be shocked if it was anything besides Ant-Man on a microscope plate and then a giant eyeball looking down at him.
Yeah, they said it was supposed to be auditory, like an auditory reference.
Oh, really?
So maybe
that's
what. Yeah, they.
Okay, then my guess is it's just going to be we're going to hear the famous magnification.
Yeah,
magnification.
Yeah, and apparently someone. I read somewhere else in that article too that Ant-Man's Scott Lang's friend in the movie. I forget his name. He's played by Michael Pena, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing something, and he's changing into Ant-Man. He's whistling "It's a Small World." Apparently in the movie. So
Disney and Marvel. Oh, they're slowly coming together. Slowly. Okay, so yeah, the inner space, it was definitely built on two things. It was built on, of course, being a sequel to Adventures Through Inner Space, which I always thought was a really cool idea. Hell, I think inner space is just a concept that's just ripe to come back in the 21st century and be awesome with modern technology, but that's neither here nor there. So I did that, and then I also did the Around the World in 80 Days simulator, which actually ended up being my favorite attraction to work on out of these three, because I just really like doing the mix of, I really like the banter that I created between Professor Fogg, who's the main character from the Around the World from 80 Days book, and then Harrison Hightower, who's of course the curator of the Tokyo Tower of Terror.
Yes.
And so I really like the mythology that I built. I really like how I blended the characters from Jules Verne in, and it makes sense. It's like, you have Hightower, who's a world traveler, and he's like, "Hey, I heard of this Professor Fogg and his flying machine that took you around the world in 80 days. Fogg, make me more of these flying machines." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I really like their dynamic, and I just thought the whole thing was really fun to work out. And then finally we have we have the magic of science, which again I kind of cheated on this one because I brought Dreamfinder into it. I apologize. I didn't even realize what I was doing really in terms of Dreamfinder.
I think that was the only thing that kept you from.
Is Dreamfinder.
Was that, and also like the sea stuff too, because that's used in Tokyo, like Hightower and Henry Mystic.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I wasn't considering, because when you say IP, I instantly think of movies, not necessarily theme parks.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't the only one that did that, so it wasn't.
Right, and what I'm doing essentially is I'm taking these characters, but I'm definitely using them in
a different
completely
way.
Original way. Yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't take too much into effect.
So I didn't have much detail on the Magic of Technology show. I essentially wanted it to be like, you know, I essentially wanted it to be kind of like a positive outlook on what modern technology is able to accomplish.
Okay.
Because I feel like we have a lot of negative outlook on it now. We have a lot of like, oh, kids are just attached to their cell phones now. And yeah, to a certain extent, that is true. But for people like me who are very creatively minded, technology is offered like 10 years ago, you couldn't just get on YouTube and freaking just record yourself live like we're doing with another person from across the country. You know, I couldn't do these like weekly shows with Blue Dragon 5 and Adventure Blue Dude and all these people. You know, it's like, it's just the fact that Google Hangouts exists and we can do these podcasts and, you know, so, and just have them live like this and live and on air. So,
yeah,
you know, I'm someone who's personally very thankful for modern technology. I see the kids that are attached to their cell phones, and it is very worrisome, but I feel like there's a lot to be, you know, to be cherished with the way that modern technology is advancing. So that was kind of my idea there. And then the Nemo, I'll admit the Nemo thing was kind of an afterthought. I just kind of threw it in there because, hey, Captain Nemo, tie him in. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you think?
We both really liked it. As I said before, the only thing that really kept it from being, you know, the top position was just the fact that it was utilizing Dreamfinder and C, but
and
as I said before,
and
all the high tower, and basically that was it. But overall, the project itself was really well done. There was a ton of detail in it. And there was a great backstory and mythology to it that I think we both enjoyed reading about. And this would be a really cool addition. I don't know if it'd ever be done.
Oh, I doubt it.
Yeah, pretty cool to see.
I mean, I'd love it, but I doubt something like this. I also do very much enjoy my well-timed placing of comedic pictures.
Yes.
Where, for example, I'm like, oh, and on Lord Mystic's shoulder is his faithful monkey companion, Albert. And then I have a picture of my podcasting companion, Monkey. And I love Monkey's look too. I don't know what he's doing in that picture. I just Google image search his YouTube channel, and that's what I came up with. But I mean, his eyes, man, he looks like he's about to eat you.
Yeah, that was
hello.
That was pretty funny.
And then, of course, also the Jackie Chan gag around the world at 80 days. Because I was like, no, okay, I'm going to acknowledge, yes, Jackie Chan, that exists, but no, this is not that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it was really fun to design. This is honestly probably my, I would say maybe out of everything that we've done in the creator game so far, this is probably might be my personal favorite. I might go as far as to say that.
Oh, this whole project in general?
Just my project in general. The one that I turned in is my favorite that I've worked on so far, probably.
Yeah,
I would have said Muppet Star Wars, but Muppet Star Wars didn't really turn out the way I wanted it to because I kind of had to bail on that one at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. But let's get to Orlando's Wonders of Weather Pavilion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like this one. This one was a good one. Oh, did you want to go ahead, Tiki?
No, go ahead first, and then I'll chime in.
I think this. Well, just looking back at a couple of Imagineer ideas, this adding a weather pavilion to Epcot seems like a really popular idea, and there's a reason why for it. I mean, you have all sorts of science backgrounds in each of the pavilions. You got energy and physics in the universe of energy, astronomy, space and mission space, transportation, engineering, test track, etc. So having like a meteorology pavilion is a pretty cool idea, at least for me. And he did a really good job with it. I like how he included. I like the Cloud9. I like the Storm Labs. The only two things, like we had said before with you, was that the what was it called? The Stormstruck exhibit is moved from Innoventions. And since it's not like an original concept, since you're just taking it from one
Right.
location to the next, that was one thing that kind of pegged it down a little bit.
I also feel like even though he didn't directly acknowledge it, I feel like there was a lot of influence taken from Storm Riders at Disney Sea.
That's what I was going to get at next. Was the Sky Rider simulator felt like very similar. It's even said it too. It'll be similar to Storm Rider in Tokyo Disney Sea.
Which it's like you're basically just taking one S word and replacing it with another S word. It's like
basically.
Yeah.
But I mean, as we'll get to later on, a lot of people did concepts that took other things.
To tell you the truth, I didn't really enjoy this one that much.
Oh, really?
I mean, what you said about weather kind of being an obvious choice for a pavilion.
I guess
to
not
tell
obvious,
you the truth,
but like
that's
an interesting one.
Well, no, I think it is an obvious choice for Epcot, and for obvious reasons. And for that reason, I don't necessarily think it was that much of a stretch in creativity for him to come up with it, frankly.
That's true, too. And that's why
I feel like it was kind of taking an easy route, whereas I really challenged myself. I came up with all the backstory and everything. But, I mean, that's just what I like to do. I love to do backstory. I mean, you noticed with my Tomorrowland in particular, of course.
Oh yeah, your last few projects have been basically driven by your backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Even the latest one, the
Clock Tower one.
Clock Tower, yeah,
in a way, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so that's definitely one of your strengths, is the backstory element.
I don't necessarily think that a special effects show like Armageddon or Twister would really play to a modern audience anymore.
I
feel like both those shows are kind of dated and don't really get any crowds.
I don't know. I forgot the last
do original things with the concept.
Yeah.
Like, having like contained simulated storms, but I'm just saying like I don't like. I feel like because Universal
has the
Hollywood
earthquake.
Oh, no, they actually took it out. Yeah, they took it out. Yeah. They had Backdraft, but then they took Backdraft out.
I was gonna say, do they still have Twister in?
They Orlando? Never had Twister. Oh, Orlando. Yeah, I think they still have Twister in Orlando.
Yeah, because I know they had to take out. Oh, they took out was not too big on the universe. I don't know Universal layout as much.
I'm not either. I mean, yeah. I could tell you everything about the Hollywood Park because there's not much in the Hollywood Park.
No, there's like five. There's like 5 rides there.
It's one of the worst layouts of any theme park ever.
They have all those giant escalators, right?
Yes, the escalators. Oh my God! Oh, the escalators! Oh, so many escalators.
Although they do have that hour-long studio tour with the King Kong.
Yeah, but the thing with that is that I feel like it kind of neutralizes what would have been full attractions.
That was one of the things when we visited California a couple years back, and we wanted to do that hour-long tour, but then you had to buy the whole theme park pass along with it, and we were like, there's only like 4 rides in here. We're not going to do very much. So we ended up not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, Jurassic Park's awesome.
Yeah, and then they have...
I mean, to tell you the truth, all the rides in there are good. Like, Jurassic Park's awesome. It's basically the Pirates of the Caribbean. Transformers I've never been on, but I've heard that's really exciting.
Transformers was
the
good.
Mummy Coaster is really good.
The
Simpsons I don't like for personal reasons, just because I'm a big Back to the Future purist. But the actual simulator is fun.
Yeah.
I just
Transformers was pretty cool. We went on it in the Orlando version, which is basically a carbon copy of Hollywood.
Sure.
That's why they were able to build it so fast, was because it was just.
Well, I've made the joke before that like the Transformers is like a groundbreaking ride, and that it's a ride all about giant robots, and yet it doesn't contain a single animatronic.
Yeah. It's all 3D screens.
Which I think is a fault, because I'd rather be in a physical environment than staring at a 3D screen any day. But
yeah, that's one of the things about Universal, is that I think they have an over-reliance of screens, especially in their most recent projects. I think that was one of the things about Gringotts, was that...
Oh yeah, Escape from Gringotts has a screens.
And then I heard that
them.
the new King Kong is going to have a lot of screens too. In
Which is
Orlando.
a shame because you can get so many cool like physical environments out of Kong.
They can make the King Kong Yeti, but have it actually work. I mean, that would be cool.
Well, we already have it now. Disneyland has the better Yeti again.
I know. You guys just got an upgrade.
Yeah, we got an upgrade, and now it's better. It's better than your Disco Yeti. All right, so we should probably
let's move on.
Let's move on to our Michael, and he did the wonders of innovation. Yeah.
All right, you want to take this one first?
Yeah, he did kind of a World's Fair type of theme, which is cool. Okay, now I'll admit, when I saw his Adventure Through Inner Space poster, even though it was a completely different attraction, I was like, no, we can't be doing inner space. I'm doing inner space. I got a little megamiacal.
Megamind.
What am I saying? I got a little maniacal there for a little bit. But the two things don't have anything to do with each other, really.
Right.
Because this is a simulator. I do think it's kind of creative to do inner space as a simulator. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah.
Although I think it loses some of the appeal of the ride, because the appeal of the ride was the projection technology at the time, the minimalist sets.
Right, and I also thought that since his disadvantage was to do a Body Wars ride, he kind of went above and beyond with the 4D effects, which kind of wasn't he went above and beyond the disadvantage, which was kind of knocked him down a peg for that, at least for both of us.
Okay, then we have Hologram Wars.
This one was interesting.
It baffled me. Kind of baffled me.
The concept itself was cool, but I didn't understand. This needed more detail.
It's like a gyrosphere concept. I'm just gonna call any of these concepts just gyrosphere concepts.
Yeah,
because they're like, it's a cool idea, but it's like, how does it technically work? Like,
exactly.
There's no explanation for it.
I kind of see where he was going with it. It was cool. It'd be cool to have, but I don't know where the technology comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand how you can have. I mean, is there a certain, in Test Track, there's only a certain number of when you're creating your own ride, there's only so many ways you can make it. And in this one, it seems like you can just make your own invention. That's like an infinite amount of inventions. Where does the technology stop?
Exactly.
So is there like only 5 things that you can make, or is there a million? Like, I don't know. I didn't get it. It was a good concept, but yeah.
Then we have innovation booths, which it's fair. It's it's just kind of the standard sort of Epcot displays. Yeah. Okay, this restaurant robot. I don't know about this.
I was confused. It says insert name will serve you gourmet.
That seems like that seems like a kind
typo.
of a typo or a first draft.
I thought so. So it might have been he just might have forgot. I do that sometimes.
Is it really made? Is it all made by robots? I don't know. Can you do that?
I don't know if that's...
Does that technology
Are we
exist?
Enough to do that?
I know. That's my question.
All right, so in 6 years, we have to make robots that can be butlers. Let's get on it.
Oh, I've seen Ex Machina, so I'm thinking about robots doing a different kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, so Future Outfitters, kind of a standard clothing store. Oh, and the whole thing about I kind of thought this was kind of cool. The glass container on the wall, and the robot retrieves it. It's cool, but entirely unnecessary, and would probably be problematic.
Yeah.
Because people would be like waiting in line to use the robot instead of just being able to just like grab your thing. It'd cause like a bottleneck.
Exactly.
And so that's about it. That's about it for our Michael. What are your general thoughts?
Yeah, it was. There were a couple things that kept it from being one of the best ones. First being the fact that he kind of added more on to the disadvantage than we had anticipated. And then the second being the Hologram Wars. While it was a good idea, or it was an interesting idea, I just had no clue how it would work.
All I kept thinking of was Robot Wars from Big Hero 6. And
well,
I know it's not the same concept, or Battle Bots, or whatever the hell they're called.
Yeah, that's what I was actually. I thought that's where he was going with it. I thought because there's like these science fairs where you can, you basically have robots fight each other. I thought that's where he was going with it.
And the whole Battle Bots TV show is coming out.
Yeah, yeah.
And the guy on the TV ad is like, "I'm going to Disney World, and I can actually say that because it's on ABC."
That's where I thought he was going with it, just like on a projection screen where you're fighting.
I just don't get the projection thing. I don't get how you can customize it and everything. That's
where I kind of lost. I think both of us lost it there. Other than that, it was just kind of the robot butler chef gourmet. That was very, very advanced. And then the other stuff was, it's just there's nothing good or bad about it. Just the merchandise stuff. So it probably wasn't his best one. And he even talked about that later on where, as school went on, it got less and less free time, which is understandable.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So the next one is, or unless you had one thing to say about it.
No.
Okay.
Let's go to T-Pool. And does he have a name for this?
It's just Wonders of Vacancy.
Okay, the Wonders of Vacancy. All right. Very creative name. No, in all seriousness, though, I think he did a really good job.
No, I think I didn't even take the name into consideration.
The only reason I asked is because I've been like, okay, now we have this by this person.
Yeah, I really liked his Mindscape Dark Ride.
I like how he didn't really linger on having too much detail. I feel like this was kind of the perfect read. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
Because he put just as much detail as was needed. Whereas, I put a lot of detail in just because it's like fucking C, and there's a ton of backstory. But with him, I think it was just a nice breezy project. There wasn't anything too mind blowing about it, but it was it was just an easy read, like I said.
While yours and Disney Princesses went kind of above and beyond in the detail category, this kind of project is something where you're basically guaranteed to advance unless everyone else did above and beyond. Because
right.
it's a project where it might not win the whole thing, but it's definitely not going to come in last just because it's very well done. And I think this was one of his. I don't remember what you said on the last podcast for session 7, but I thought that his one last week was his best project ever.
Oh, the Tomorrowland one? I thought it was a really, really, really good project. I just thought it was really misinformed by the fact that Tomorrowland was a bomb.
That's what yeah.
So that's obviously the thing that kind of holds it back.
Yeah, if it was a big success, I think it would have played out better. But in terms of the idea...
Yeah, instead it's like I'm reading it and I'm just like, okay, this is all really cool and it ties into the movie really well, but Disney would just never make a whole land.
Especially when you're losing like $100 million on the movie. Exactly. You're not going to make a whole land on it. But other than that, this one was a pretty good one. His Corpus Tum ride kind of was similar to Body Wars, as in like you go in, you try to find a disease, you get attacked by white blood cells.
Yeah, it was a little similar. Yeah.
So I don't know. Also, the Sensory Bistro kind of it was fine.
Okay, so let's move on to unless you have anything else.
Oh no, that's it.
Okay, let's move on to Disney Princess and her renovated Wonders of Life pavilion. It's interesting that she's the only one who decided to completely keep the Wonders of Life theme intact.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Everyone else kind of either changed the name or didn't have a name.
Well, yeah. Okay, so first of all, props to Princess for just including a a crap ton of detail.
I know.
Which I unfortunately did not have the time to read over properly.
No, I can give you like a little, because I read this over just a couple hours ago.
Okay, cool.
I really liked the memory map. I think this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge attraction. There's like all these original characters and everything.
I know this was a ton of detail in that, and I like how she kept it to 4 different types of different themes, and there's something definitely for everyone in here. There's memory map for people who are really big into science and psychology and neuroscience, or people who just want to learn more about it. And then there's kinesthetics for people who are big into exercise, fitness, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's people who just want to learn about illusions. I mean, that's just a great way to tie into.
It's a really perfect blend. It really is like Wonders of Life 2.0 in that way.
And then you got the comedy.
Wonders of Life, it had education, it had the comedy, it had the thrills, and this is kind of the same way.
And I like the silly organs at the end. I mean, that would be great to include that, because that's a way to educate you. It's edutainment is basically what it is.
Edutainment, yeah. Edutainment.
Edutainment. Edumacated.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I think there's. No, I don't either. I mean, I think there's just there's no doubt in my mind that this should have been the #1 project, because she just kicked ass on it. I mean, I love the illusion thing. That was probably my favorite part of the whole thing. I feel like that's so Epcot.
Oh, exactly.
I should start a podcast called "That's So Epcot."
That'd be funny.
And have England and Joker host it, and I wouldn't be on at all because I have nothing to say.
If they had a Westcott one.
Yeah, well, okay, so no, but this was not really a hard decision on your guys' end, was it?
No, the hardest decision was 4th, 5th, and 6th was Matt, because he didn't have a project, unfortunately. So the hardest part was the bottom. But I mean, after we kind of talked about it, we had the exact same rankings pretty much, except the reason why T-Cool and Orlando were tied was because we had them flipped. Just one was 3rd, one was 4th, and the other one of ours, it was 3rd and 4th. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when we average them together, it is tied. But in the end, that doesn't really matter. We both had Princess 1st, you 2nd, and then we both unfortunately had Armichael 5th, just because everyone else turned in like a project that didn't have a lot of flaws.
And his definitely had some holes in it, right?
It had.
There wasn't much to latch onto with Armichael's, really. There wasn't like a singular idea that was like, okay, I get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was like robots.
And that was kind of why.
Robot House.
I don't know. It was just like T-Cool, as you knew, okay, it's human body. Orlando's, okay, it's weather. Yours, okay, there's a good backstory to it. Princess is another good backstory to it, and theme overall. So there wasn't much deliberation once we both were online, and then we're like, okay, that's it.
All right. So that eliminated my biggest rival of the season, which was Armichael, in fact.
Yeah.
And Armichael, I feel like, played out almost exactly kind of in the same way that, well, not exactly, but very similar to the way that Zweilin's elimination played out in Soul Imagineer, in terms of, just in terms of he was like the big threat that made it almost to the end, but got eliminated just before the final rounds. Mm-hmm. So I feel like he's a pretty good comparison. And also, much like Zweiland, he was definitely, I feel like he probably did more strategizing than even I did. I'm sure there's strategy that he was involved in that I'm not even aware of. But so basically, to round things off, let's get into the hashtag Target Alliance. Yeah. We're a brand. We're a freaking a logo from a from a brand, a trademarked brand, the Target Alliance.
You sell frozen merchandise at 20% off.
Oh God. Yeah, I just basically I could just kind of gain from how R. Michael was interacting with me. I was like, okay, R. Michael, you know what your biggest mistake was? Flattery never fools anyone in games like this. You don't want to be flattered. And that's what he was doing to me. He's like, oh, you're so smart, Tiki. You're so okay. I'm like, yeah. And so, I mean, granted, I'm sure he probably does think I'm a smart gamer. He showed what I was capable of in Soul Imagineer.
Right.
But I just kind of came to the conclusion right around I want to say right around the final 7, where I was like, okay, this guy's buttering me up. He's gonna make me get Disney Princess out, and then when Disney Princess is gone, I'm going to be public enemy number 1. I'm going to be the big threat, and R. Michael's going to have a team of people behind him to execute it.
Yeah.
And so I went right away to Disney Princess, and I was like, hey, this is the deal. I actually did try and target you earlier, because, of course, I was the one that I suggested to R. Michael that he use his poison apple twist on her a couple rounds ago, and that was in play. So I was actually legitimately gunning for Disney Princess from very early on. Right. And it wasn't for any of the outside the game stuff. It was just for the fact that she was just a damn good competitor, and I could tell that she's going to be a threat. And I still think she's a threat to win, but I'd rather be sitting in the Final Four with her there than not be sitting in the Final Four at all. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, you're better off advancing yourself than I guess.
Right. And so that's where my mindset was. I can't exactly say how much benefit the Alliance really was. I mean, we tried to help each other out with our individual projects, but, at the end of the day, we all had, we both had our ideas, and we were going to kind of stick to them.
Right.
And so that really, we didn't really get any kind of fruitful brainstorming out of it.
Yeah, and I mean, the teams kind of broke that up too when we divided into teams. There was already like
But of course, the big thing that we achieved during the Alliance was the powers, because once Disney Princess was on my team, and once I got the power, and I was already in a pre-established alliance with her at that point, I was like, okay, let's pile them on our Michael. Let's do it. Let's pull the trigger.
Right.
So that was basically it, and as far as I'm concerned right now that the Final Four projects have been turned in, and they're all fantastic. I think mine's okay. I don't know. I'm worried, man. I'm legitimately more worried than I ever have been. I don't know if it's a damn Final 3 or Final 4, and that's driving me, or Final 2, and that's driving me crazy. But it's been fun. It's been a fun ride. I've really enjoyed it. I think you guys have been doing a really good job of keeping us all on our toes throughout the run.
Yeah, well, thank you, and a lot of credit goes to IDI and Sam too, because they did a great job. Of a good solid teamwork getting stuff done. Because if one person wasn't online, the other person would step up and respond, so that it would be everyone will get their questions answered and their results in on time and stuff like that. We tried to make it so that the results go up on the night of, so that everyone is not sitting waiting like tonight. But it just so happened yeah. But because we delayed it till 2:30 because of
the extensions.
What was that?
The
extensions. We just said, we'll just do it tomorrow. So don't worry about it tonight for anyone who's waiting up for it. Don't wait up till 3 a.m. because it'll come tomorrow. IDI is not even online.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it now.
All right, fair enough.
I'll post my reviews, I guess, because I'm already here. But they won't be finalized because obviously we combine them together at the end.
Yeah. And then, of course, you and IDI also have to kind of talk amongst yourself as well.
Exactly, because, I mean, especially with only 2 people here, if someone, let's say I place someone second and he places them fourth, Well, now they're tied for third.
Right.
Now they're tied for third. Now what are we going to do? So they'll definitely be. They'll have to be. We'll have to talk it out a little bit. I'll try to make them as detailed as possible, just so that at least my individual ones, so that you don't think I'm just
sure
pulling it out of my hat, because this is definitely a big. If last session was big, this session's even bigger, because this is determining who's going to go into the final round.
Of course.
So I wouldn't want someone to be eliminated based on me not reading something correctly.
like IDI and those damn windows on my Paradise Falls hotel.
oh yeah. Well, it's always good to clarify stuff, because sometimes based on
there's a lot of text to read. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Oh,
and
yeah.
We've been doing this for like 2 months now, so I'm about had enough with reviews.
All right. Well, I do not envy your position, dear sir, because I feel like all 4 of these projects are very, very high quality, and it's going to be tough to narrow it down.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
But at the end of the day, all I can say is that school's kicking into high gear for me. I've got a Beach Boys concert this week, so I've got shit going on. And I made it past my 5th place standing in Soul Imagineer, so I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied either way.
I remember back in March, you'd posted that you didn't think you were going to get very far, but look at you. You're in the final 4.
I didn't think I'd get very – believe me, once we're in – I don't know how well I'm going to do in Sorcerer's Apprentice, because Sorcerer's Apprentice is team-based, and nobody's going to trust me. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I don't think there's any it seems like it's just it's your Imagineering skill more than your strategy skill. So it might
there's definitely political dynamics in it, though, especially with the nominations for the boardroom and everything like that. It's essentially the gameplay of The Apprentice.
Yeah.
And The Apprentice definitely had a strategy to it. So, as does SA. So, all right. Well, Space, any last words, any closing thoughts on this round?
No, I'll try to get to those reviews. I should have them up within like half an hour or so.
Please do.
Because I was looking at them before, so I have a basic outline. But now that I have this 4th one here, I have to read that one too.
And it's a Disney Princess product, so I'm sure it'll be full of detail.
Crack my fingers and get going now.
All right, so that'll do it for this installment of the Creator Games, and thank you for joining us, Space. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And meanwhile, I'm Tiki, and I'm from the Bay Area. I'm from San Francisco. So yes, we did ruin pizza. So if you want to blame someone, blame me. I ruined pizza. All right, see you guys. First the Hawaiians, and now you.